Hey, this is Chris with Flip Houses Part Time. I wanted to make a real quick video on a $15,000 wholesale deal that we just did. And you have to forgive me if it's a little noisy. I'm here in my office. On my desktop, I'm normally on my laptop, but I have one of my 2.5-year-old sons with me here in the office today. So he is on my laptop next to me watching videos. So I will break this down real quick as fast as I humanly can. So this lead came in last week. It came in through our On Carrot website, Investor Carrot. And let me show you this. Computer's going a little slow right now. Nothing out of the ordinary. But here we have, this is what the lead looked like. It hit my email and it hit my Podio, as it has like a little push to Podio thing. So here it has the details, phone number, his email, bedrooms, bath, square footage, year, condition, all that. Yes, needs to sell fast. But just took a snapshot just to be able to kind of keep some important information concealed. My son is talking up a storm, so I apologize if you can hear him. So we went ahead. I shot it over to my acquisitions assistant. He called him. In that time I comped it, tried to get a feel for it, and he told me that the guy just wants 140. He was gifted the house a few years ago from his aunt. So we comped it. Let me see. Let me kind of scoot through this real quick. So here you see this is the tax records. Has the address, owner name, 3, basically 2, the size. He said it did have an addition that's not a part of that. So, and then I looked at Google Maps, saw okay, it looks like it's probably not a bad house, probably outdated, but roof looks solid, exterior looks solid. Here we have there. So I'm thinking, might be a possible hotel. So just I looked at comps over here. So I just quickly ran half-mile comp, 6 months. I'll go through some of those real quick, how I came up with some of the values. Again, in my office, I am a few walls away from our wireless router, so my internet gets a little slow here, especially here at 1 p.m. when there's a lot of traffic. So it will eventually load. Right, so I see this outdated house. It's somewhere around the similar specs. It's been on the market for a while, but it looks like it was probably selling somewhere around 200,000. I'm assuming based on the days on market. I mean, that's like 4 or 5 months, something like that. I'm thinking, maybe they took like a 185, 190, something like that. So I think, hey, even on a wholesale end, if I buy it for 140, maybe put a couple, $2,000 into it, clean it up, clean it out, put it back on the market for 185. Maybe I can, after interest and commissions, maybe I can pocket 20 grand. I'm looking at this house, very similar specs again. It's just 20 feet smaller than mine. Semi remodeled, nothing special at all. This house is like plain, boring, not even professional photography. It's got the tans and browns and taupes, the things that have been out of style for like the last 5 or 6 years. But I did look this up, and it was just a landlord who ended up remodeling his house to resell it. So, they didn't have to go over the top, but similar, a little smaller, sold for 222. Very little comps in this area. It's not a big city. It's about 45 minutes from me. Here's this other semi-remodeled, kind of bland, plain, stained cabinets, plain granite. Just real bland remodel. Not horrible at all. And I don't mean to knock the property. They probably just did the best according to the resources they had. Old vanity. It's just bland and plain. It's not really a flip. I looked it up and it's not a flip at all. And that it shows pending 220. I'm assuming 220 to 215, somewhere around there. So it is bigger. It's in a less desirable neighborhood, so I'm gonna give it a little less value compared to mine. Right, and then now we start getting into bigger houses, bigger neighborhoods. It's kind of not relevant. That is not a comp. Just because something shows up in a radius does not mean it is a comp. I would never take a 2006 property and comp it to mine, which was built in like the 70s. Wouldn't do that at all, and on the size as well. So that's where I figured out, hey, if I just wholesale this 180, 185, I'm probably going to clear 20, something like that. I'm thinking ARV off the top, 220 to 225. Here's the interesting thing though. We just went ahead and took a look, and I'll see if these pictures can come up okay. And something's happening here. Okay, so the house was not bad. Very outdated for sure. Here you go. Probably a little bit worse condition than the other ones that we looked at. Outdated kitchen, outdated flooring. Exterior is okay. Roof is good. Fascia's okay. Definitely needs paint. Probably a little tiny bit of patching, but overall not bad exterior. 2-car garage. Again, here's your kitchen, dining room. Needs flooring, needs paint, needs light fixtures, needs baseboard, doors. Here's the addition. Actually, let me go back a little bit. So here's your living room. You walk right out to this addition. It's probably a patio that was converted. It was not bad at all as far as the quality of work. It looks like good quality work. It's not permitted as far as everyone knows, but it's probably about 150 total square feet, which would bring that size up. Actually, it might be closer to 200. Can't recall exactly what the square footage is. What is it? 1240. 1240 on tax records. Probably brings it up to about 1400. And then definitely needs some ceiling work here. But the outside, you can see the outside's in really good condition. Has a bathroom, a full bathroom. Can be a full. There's me. Can be a full bathroom. It's really big. Just needs to be gutted and redone. So here, I'm looking at this thing. Outdated, not horrible. Could retail it or hotel it. So long story short, actually, sorry, backtrack. Day after we talked to him about the 140, I told my acquisitions guy, hey, just give him a call. Tell him, hey, we're really comfortable at 130. We'll cover all your closing costs and we'll close in 2 weeks. And then, he ended up calling me back 5 minutes later. He's like, hey, he took it. He's good to sign. Go ahead and send the DocuSign. So we sent it out for 130 and opened escrow that day, and then went out the next day to take pictures. And here, master bath again, outdated. Just needs to be gutted, I guess. It's not horrible, but it is outdated. Right, so I'm looking at this thing. Now we're looking at a potential 3-bedroom, 3-bath, or 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,400, maybe a little over 1,400 square feet. Exterior is good. We're probably talking 35 to 40 grand in work. I know someone could get it done in 35 grand. So here's what I did. This is my basic profit formula. I can kind of take these things out. I kind of ran numbers thinking myself, if I buy it, what am I going to do? If we buy for 130, interest kind of irrelevant. Fix up, I might be a little higher, especially being out in a city that I don't live in. It's about 45 minutes from me. Let's say worst case scenario, I drop 40 into it, which I probably would. I'm looking at ARV of 230, conservatively 225. Right, I'm going to pay a little bit more interest than this, so I'm probably going to clear low 20s, maybe 23, 24, on a good day, 25. I'm also going to throw in something for my acquisitions guy, and maybe 2,500, something like that. So I'm looking at a $20,000 deal for myself. My interest, my line of credit, I pay a little bit more than most people, just because that's just how I structure things. So of course I'm working on getting cheaper private money, but not there yet. So I'm looking at, what am I going to send out? If someone else comes in and buys it, I'm thinking 230 is still a solid number, because without that addition, I was looking at 220 to 225. I'm not going to tack on $15,000, $20,000 in value for that addition, but I think somebody could. So you could probably justify 235, 240, but I'm looking at comps, but everything is still selling from that 200 to 225-ish. So I'm just going to give it 5 to 10,000 in value. I'm looking at 230, 35 grand in work. And I'm going to see if I can make 15 grand on it. So if someone's going to pay a total of 4% of their money, of their total purchase and rehab, they're going to put 35 in work, sell it for 230. Yeah, maybe they're going to make 23, 24, 25 grand, something like that. So if someone's coming in strictly cash, bam, you're making 30 grand, solid deal. So we put the email together, right? So I actually just had to restart the recorder. There was a glitch and it stopped recording. But yeah, we're going to take a look at that MailChimp email. So this is it. Here you have the details. I might add a picture there. I literally made it with like 5 minutes before I needed to leave my office and go home. So didn't do anything fancy as far as adding pictures at the top, but just off market, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Reedley with great potential. Blah blah blah. We're assigning our interest. Escrow is already open. Here's the address. 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Even though tax records show 2, since that bathroom is there, I just went ahead and put that there in the description. 1240 square foot is on tax records. That's closer to 1400. It's probably closer to like 1450, 145 cash. I made it so quick. I did forget to stipulate buyer pays escrow fees. I normally have that right here in parentheses. ARV 230. I think someone could definitely get more than that, but I'm not going to put the top of the top. I'm going to put what is conservative, what the numbers show now. I don't believe in saying, oh, if you put it on the market in 2 months, it's going to be worth 240. It's going to be worth whatever. It's going to appreciate. Nope. I look at comps right now. What do I think? If it was remodeled and on the market today, what would be a good selling price? And that's what I'm looking at, 230. Just clear cut. 14-day close or less. 1,500 non-refundable deposit, refundable if seller cancels, of course. Quick description of it. Talk about the tax records. Talk about a built-in bathroom. Addition probably around 150. Again, I think it's realistically closer to 200 square feet. This closet can be marketed as a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Roof is solid. Yeah, it needs cosmetic plus a HVAC. And here's the thing, you do not need to add dual pane windows. A lot of people just automatically put dual pane windows in on a flip, but you got to look at the neighborhood. I mean, because that could be 4 grand to 5 grand to 6 grand on your project that you don't need to do. It doesn't necessarily add value unless the neighborhood calls for it. And of course, if you just have tore up old windows, maybe old wood frame that are just too tore up to paint, then you go ahead and replace windows, but I would not automatically do it. It doesn't always need to be done. Attached 2-car garage, additional carport, permitted, blah, blah, blah. Clean middle class neighborhood. So just a quick description, a link to the pictures to my Dropbox, and call or text me. And that was it. I sent it out to a list. I typically send out properties to like 2 or 3 guys. Hey, what do you think about this? And then they get it. But I'm trying to do a little bit something to improve my business, make it a little bit more competitive, and really increase my own profit and revenue. Because at the end of the day, I have to put my business first and not try to be someone's employee by putting their business first. So that's why I wanted to make 15 grand, or I can fix and flip it myself and potentially make 22 to 23, 24 grand. I would probably rather take that quick money now. So sent it out. Of course, that night I had some texts. Oh, it's not worth that. Blah blah blah. Somebody wanted to buy it for like 133, and then later came back at 140. That was it. And next morning, got someone who said, "Hey, I'll take it for 145. I'm good to go. I just need to walk it." So he ran out there, walked it. Myself or my acquisitions manager was not there. He actually met with the seller. We know the buyer. We've done business with him. We trust him. So he knows the routine. I'm not talking about price or anything like that. So he walked it, called up my guy and said, "Yeah, we're good. We're good to close. We can close in a week." So here we are, literally little over a week later. We're closing tomorrow, technically Monday, and $15,000 wholesale. It's pretty simple. I probably could have made something work at the seller's offer of 140, but I felt like, we needed to get it at a deal that made a little bit better sense for us. Pretty awesome. I didn't have to do any negotiations. That's a good thing about having a team. Sure, I could take 100% of the profit and either flip it or wholesale it without my acquisitions guy, but my desire is to build a business and be able to focus on the business things like improving systems, recruiting, raising money, and all that, and allow other people to eat with me by locking up the sellers or locking up the buyers. So I'm not afraid of giving away a certain percentage. So my acquisition guy makes 15% of the gross revenue if he gets the seller on a wholesale, and 15% if he gets the buyer. And the buyer that is on this list is actually from him. So he's going to get 30%, 4,500. And my son is sitting here pulling papers out of a box, throwing them everywhere. So I got to wrap this up and get him to stop doing that. And yeah, that's just a quick video on our $15,000 wholesale through our on Carrot, investor Carrot, on Carrot, Carrot.com, whatever you want to call it. It is it's really a solid website. We have the advanced marketer plan, so we pay like I pay $149 a month for 3 sites. It gives you monthly. Okay, you know what? You gotta stop pulling all that paper out. It gives you monthly blogs that are SEO content. So I've had my website for a few years without doing anything other than just posting the blog. We get about 4 to 5 deals a year, and profit-wise, they are the best. They are the 10 to 30 to $50,000 deals. For whatever reason, and I think the website builds trust with people. Some people have this misconception that someone who goes online and sees that you have an on-Carrot site, and they're going to go see how 10 other investors also have the same site, and that's not the case at all. Somebody lands on a website and they're calling you, maybe one other person. So I know this seller was not talking to any other investor because our website is designed to build trust. And we got that lead. We called them immediately, locked it up within 24 hours, and then had it sold for $15,000 more within 24 hours. So on Carrot is awesome. I don't do any paid advertisements. It just sits there and gets leads. And of course, number one thing, touching base with the seller, building rapport, making offers, following up on offers, and getting things sold. So that's it. If you have any questions about this, about wholesaling, about fix and flipping, systems, anything like that, please do drop a comment, like it, share it, and of course subscribe. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you learn and go do some deals.